Now, something that began in France and in Spain, and it was urged on by these Jewish converts to Christianity, was that the church should stage debates between Christians and Jews. Disputations, they're called. Debates on the truth of faith. And the debates were to prove, through Jewish literature and quotations from the Talmud, that Jesus was predicted by the Bible, by the prophets, and that Jesus is the true Messiah and the true incarnation of God and so on. All of the arguments of Christianity against Judaism, these were to be argued in public. Public disputations. Well, one of the famous disputations was held in Paris in the middle of the 13th century, around 1260, led by Rabbi Yechiel of Paris, who was one of the great scholars of the time. And he was challenged by some Jewish converts leading the Dominican and Franciscan friars to dispute, to hold a public debate on the virtues of Christianity and Judaism. You see, the debate was carried on in public, and the emotions of the crowds were aroused, and the end of the disputation led to riots against the Jews, and other things, atrocities were committed, including, eventually, one of the greatest destructions and atrocities of the Jewish people, and that was the Great Bonfire of Paris, which took place in 1263. The Christian brothers urged the church and King Louis of France, Louis IX, that they must destroy all Jewish literature, because Jewish literature is filled with insults to Christianity, especially the Talmud. The disputation in Paris inspired a Jewish convert to Christianity who took the name Pablo Christiani, Paul the Christian, same name that Saul did when he became St. Paul. This Spanish Jew became very virulently anti-Jewish, and he encouraged the Dominican brothers to challenge the Jews to a public debate, as they did in Paris. This fellow, Pablo Christiani, also told them, he said, I'm a Talmud scholar, I really know my Judaism. And so when we challenge the Jews, let's challenge Rabbi Moshe Ben Nachman of Gerona, who is the greatest scholar in the Jewish world at the time. This was 1263. And then the disputation took place. It lasted from July 20th to August 10th, 1263, in the Grand Plaza of Barcelona. When it started, it's interesting, King James I said, this is a disputation. We're going to hear arguments on Christianity and on Judaism. It's going to be a free and fair and open debate, and everyone is free to express himself. And I warn you, the whole population of this city and this state, that this will not be a prelude to riots against the Jews. I will not permit it. Anyone who dares to attack the Jews will be severely punished. You are all my subjects. And then the debate started. Moshe Ben Nachman wouldn't restrain himself at all. And all the arguments put against him, he just lashed back at them. Moshe Ben Nachman in the debate said, we believe that the Mashiach, the Messiah of the Jews, will be a person who will lead the Jewish people to independence and freedom in the land of Israel, and will establish the Jews as an independent people, not subject to any foreign nation or any foreign power. And the Messiah, we hope, will live to a ripe old age and govern the Jewish people. And then he will die, as all human beings die. Anyway, when the debate was concluded, the king made his final statement and said, obviously Christianity is the true faith, and that has been proven by the arguments of the Christian theologians. Now you're all going to go home in peace. There's going to be no rioting here. But then he told Rabbi Moses the next day or sometime after, he said, look, the way you spoke, with all due respect, the Christians are so angry, they're so incensed, he says, I don't think I can protect you. He said, they're out to get you. So Moshe Ben Nachman decided, oh, it's time for me to go. And so he left Spain, and he went to the land of Israel, which was a country that had been wrecked by crusaders and the Muslims who drove out the crusaders. But he found a place in Jerusalem, and he started a synagogue, and he started a school, and he began to revive Jewish life in Israel. Around, it was 1263 of the debates, I suppose he arrived there a year later.